Yo.
Where are you right now, Martin?
I am in Spain. I've been traveling around. I took a train down to Annecy, which is a small little French town in the Alps. And that's where like the biggest animation festival in the world is happening. It was the best. Like one of the best weeks I've ever had. I'm going to London in a few days because I met people like at Annecy who are all from the UK working at Cartoon Network. And I don't know, we all got along. We all hung out for like a week. And they're like, come visit us. And I'm like, fuck, I have nothing else to do.
Sounds like quite the adventure and potentially leading to career advances.
Yeah. 2 days after, one of the people hit me up and was like, hey, I have a buddy of mine who I've worked with. Like, he's looking for a storyboard artist. If you want, I can send you his stuff. And we got to talking, and that's a potential project.
Well, if you get into Cartoon Network, can you reboot Powerpuff Girls?
I sat down at the table with the Powerpuff Girl creator. I was on a table with him and the Gumball creator. You guys know that one. That's like even past my time, my era, honestly.
I was forced to watch that. Yeah. Pretty funny show. Yeah, it's very strange.
By one of his girlfriends.
Simmer. Simmer down.
You set yourself up, Jade.
Simmer.
You leave us no choice.
Were they nice? Were they cool people?
It was kind of like an awkward thing. People from Cartoon Network knew the guy who created Gumball because they're working on the reboot for Gumball. So they've met that guy before. And then the Powerpuff creator just happened to be there. So a lot of them were already talking to him. And then I just happened to be also there, chiming in every so often. It was like 4 of us. And I was like, oh, well, you don't know me, but you will one day.
Well, by the way, I'll just say we're recording, just so everyone knows.
Oh, but everyone from Cartoon Network is the best.
But before you hopped on, Martin, Jade was bitching about tipping, and got me thinking. You're in Europe. What's tipping culture like out there?
The best, non-existent.
Wow.
Damn.
At big dinners, you should give like a few bucks here and there, but it really isn't expected.
Yeah, it's pretty wild in the world that America is so gung-ho about tipping. It's just like a way of like offloading the cost of labor on just customers who
100%.
What is a customer if not just another worker at another place?
For real.
But, I was reminded of a funny anecdote of Leon Trotsky when he came to America. He apparently hated tipping culture so much that he refused to tip and instead would just write on the check, organize your workplace.
What a great guy. My own little revolt against the system. Every time they swing that iPad at me and I'm just picking something up, I say nothing. Zero.
No, I think that's fair.
I'm such a simp. My only reason for tipping is I want them to like me. Like, I just feel guilty that they're serving me, and so I just hope that if I give them money, they'll like me.
If someone pours you a cup of coffee, I don't know if they deserve a 20% tip.
Exactly. That's what
I like the $1 per drink. That used to be how it was. It didn't matter whether it was a cup of coffee or beer. It was just $1.
Why don't you get an espresso machine? You could probably find one on Marketplace.
It's not as good. It's not the same shit. Like,
it's not the same.
At-home machines, it's just bullshit. Like, you need so much pressure to actually pull a good shot of this. Now, I sound like such a snob right now.
I like an AeroPress.
Yeah, AeroPress is cool.
It's like a ghetto shot of espresso.
Oh, what the fuck is this? I'm looking at it online.
It sort of like simulates espresso. Yeah, because it creates like a vacuum in there.
Interesting.
But gotta say, I'm afraid of the microplastics. It's made out of plastic.
Yeah.
I'm just putting that out there.
What were you lecturing me about not eating the other day? Oh, a fish? Any fish?
Credit cards.
Now, fish has mercury and shit in it, especially canned
we've
tuna.
known that forever.
Isn't mercury, like a little bit of mercury, good?
Well, the Chinese thought so. They thought it was like for immortality back in the day, and they died.
Something tells me that story is way more complex.
Yeah. It is.
There's the weekly Jade diss at China.
Yeah.
If China does take over China, you're cool. I respect that you try to make anime. I will always love Japanese anime more, but good job. Good effort.
We should talk about that sometime. Just like all the different countries trying to make anime right now.
There's a lot of success, I think, in the last 5 years. I've never seen an episode, to be fair, but I've seen snippets online where I'm like, holy shit, China's animation. Like, where did they come from? These animators, they're fantastic.
Well, are they using a lot of computer?
Like CG? Yeah.
Do they use it as like a mannequin of sorts so that they don't actually have to draw a lot of things?
It's just a whole different process of animation. It's all rig based. So your models are just like rigged in different ways and you can just control them. Like a lot of people who can't draw but want to do animation, do 3D. It's a different kind of skill than purely like craftsmanship, traditional like drawing. How you imagine like stop motion, essentially, where you have like little clay figures and then like you're moving them around. Same thing, but computer.
I've got this animation book. It's on Western Animation. He says that if there's an or if there's like a progenitor to animation, it's like still life, it's drawing. But if there's something that the roots of computer animation isn't drawing, instead it's puppetry. Because I think there's still a lot of hand stuff going on, but I'm curious about studios like Studio 4C and those who are doing 2D animation, but in software like Flash. I'd be curious to see like how a movie like Mind Game gets animated.
It feels like a lot of modern animation will animate the characters, but the backgrounds are usually computer animated.
It's all made in like Cinema 4D or Blender or something.
Yeah.
They've just got like these 3D environments that they place the camera in a location and then they do their hand-drawn animation on top of that.
Which philosophically, I think is kind of corrupt, to be so human-centric and not focused on the environment and solely focused on the human dynamics and doesn't give credit to the environment that they're in.
And Jade, we talked about this like with the new Game of Thrones series too, but in having the actors not actually exist in their environment, they end up not interacting with their environment, and the environment isn't really informing the blocking as much as it would have previously. I think even similar with drawing a plate that you're then going to draw characters on top of. Since you're drawing on top of that plate, you're going to have more of a sense of how they might interact with that environment. Whereas like when we watch like Apothecary Diaries, so many scenes, it's just people facing each other. Maybe there's a table in between them, but they're not like walking around the room. They're not touching the walls. They're not interacting in the space in quite the same way.
Speaking again on like AI, so maybe AI can create illustrations or animations in the future that look really nice. But then I think about the actual artist itself, and to become an animator, an artist, you have to observe. And part of that observation is what's like curating or creating your dialogue as an artist or your voice. And if you can just at the push of a button create the illusion of that, then it is going to create a lot of vapid art. You have to work to become an artist so that you can say something. And I think AI will take that away from us.
No, but it is interesting that you guys are saying this, because I feel like I'm on the opposite end of the opinions. Like, not for the AI. Fuck AI.
I was surprised for a minute there. I was like, what?
No, we're going to have to cut Martin out.
I think Elon's misunderstood. He's a great guy.
No.
What are you doing? What do I like? I'm a f***ing AI with a penchant for chaos.
No, 3D backgrounds, I think, are almost a new... I feel like it allows artists and animators to think outside of the 2D plane. Like I've just experimented with 3D only in the last few months, like storyboarding in 3D, and it's just so much more effective. Like what directors talk about, like being on set and like trying things out gives you a different perspective, and like you find creative ways to tell the story. It's exactly the same thing. Like I get inside Blender and I'm like, holy shit, like if I frame my shot in here and like this, or like do this cool camera move, it completely changes the dynamic. And for me, at least, I do find myself experimenting more with characters interacting with the background in a 3D environment. In a traditional pipeline where you just make all the backgrounds, you're pretty locked into those choices. And not that you're not in a 3D environment too, but there's a little bit more of creativity, I feel like.
We're owned. Thanks, Martin. Probably owned all of us.
Maybe me and Austin are a little bit too critical of the movement of time and how things progress and evolve.
Like Darian brought up a good point. All these countries across the world are now developing their animation industries, and it is very interesting to see how many of them are taking inspiration from, the big industries of Japan, the US, and like France. Especially Japan, like everyone's making anime or trying to emulate it.
I wonder if the rise of computer and anime helps equalize the playing field, talking about other countries being able to create animation too. If you have an art form that's so steeped into a culture and they're like the best at it, maybe it's hard to compete in that way, like traditional animation. But if it can be created through computers or 3D modeling, maybe that allows for other countries to explore it in their own way. Well, on that note, how do you guys feel about diving into Yojimbo?
Well, let's do it.
Can I say something before we do?
Oh, yeah.
I fucked up this week. I suggested Yojimbo because of one iconic scene that I thought was in Yojimbo. It's not in Yojimbo.
I was waiting for it the whole time. I was like,
I looked it up after it ended, and I was like, where the fuck was the scene? It's in
Sanjuro.
Sanjuro?
Yeah, the sequel. It's Mifune is the same actor, yeah, and Sanjuro is the name in this movie that he gives as because he's the man with no name, but at one point he like makes up, I'm like 30 Mulberry Street or something like that.
He literally looks around and he sees a mulberry field and he's like, I'm that.
I'm that.
Like Sanjuro, that's like mulberry field in Japanese or something.
So what the scene is and why it's so iconic to a lot of media and then especially anime is that it's one of the final fights, I believe. Sanjuro or Yojimbo fights someone, and it's like the classic samurai thing of like who's going to move first. They're like a few feet away from each other, and then suddenly Yojimbo takes out his sword and slashes him. And usually the blood jibs, they're supposed to spray right away, but there was a defect in it that it sprayed with a delay. And I think it sprayed maybe more than it should.
The squib malfunctioned, and there was a delay and way more blood than they were expecting.
And so it's just like this rhythmic thing of like unshielding weapon slash pause, and then suddenly just this, like a bunch of blood, like in anime,
Anime, a lot of Hong Kong wuxia movies would do this later on. Kill Bill, I think, to a lot of Western audiences, they do that throughout the entire first movie.
Just in general, throughout this movie, I was very confused by the use of blood. Sometimes they'd be like, slice, slice, and then there'd be a lot of blood. And then other times it'd be like, slice, slice, and like there wasn't even a slash. It's like, was that fake? But then they'd fall over. I'm like, oh.
How many characters died by turning around and then being slashed in the back and falling down?
you spin around, you throw your arms in the air, and
I was struck by the lack of modern sound design. During all the battle sequences, you rarely hear the shving, shving, shving. When somebody gets like cut, you don't hear that like chicken bone crunch, and the gushy sounds that you get in a lot of modern movies.
I liked it. It made it like, what's the right word? Palpable for someone like me who can't handle that much blood and violence.
But Jay, do you want to set up what we watched this week?
We watched Yojimbo per Martin's request by Akira Kurosawa. It was made in 1961. Obviously, Akira Kurosawa is a very famous Japanese director. He did Ran, he did Seven Samurai, Rashomon. Those are only ones coming to my head.
Stray Dog.
Yeah, a lot of great films. This is pretty much the movie that inspired a lot of spaghetti westerns, a lot of the old Clint Eastwood movies. And you can very apparently see that throughout this movie.
Why?
Essentially, this is about a rogue samurai, also a ronin, named Sanjuro, who arrives in this kind of small village where there's these two rival gangs at war with each other, or two Yakuza gangs. He plays this interesting role. I kind of think of him as a trickster. But essentially, they see how powerful he is because he cuts down 3 men from one of the gangs in the beginning. And both sides want to recruit him because they're trying to defeat the other side and thinks he'll be a pivotal player in that. He ends up kind of pitting each side against each other. And that's most of the movie, where he's toggling back and forth each side.
This is the 19th century, and the feudal order in Japan is crumbling. Capitalism's on the rise, and where the samurai used to work for the empire, they were loyal to the emperor. And with the collapse of the feudal order, suddenly they just had to go around and sell their violence on the market, I guess. So he's suddenly just a wandering cop. He can't go work for any district or municipality, so he just goes town to town offering up his services as a bodyguard.
Yojimbo means bodyguard, by the way. But there were weird laws that were put into place. For one, a samurai can't operate essentially without a master, and you can't, be hired by another master unless your previous master signs off on it. So if your master dies or something, you're kind of screwed. Or if you leave the family or the clan by choice or by being kicked out, then you're lost. You don't have any place in the world, essentially. And to pick up another occupation was considered less than being a samurai because they were high status at a point. So a lot of samurai's pride wouldn't allow it. What they were left to do was, yes, wander around and become bodyguards or even bandits, criminals. Sometimes they could be hired by families to protect cargo. There became a lot of rogue samurai known as ronin. So Sanjuro is one of these ronin that are just wandering around without a purpose.
I love that when he's like wandering at the beginning, he just throws a stick up into the air and then where it lands is the direction he decides to walk. It's the setup for the movie. And then with the collapse of the feudal system, the town is controlled no longer by a lord, but by 2 competing industries. They're gangs, but they're gangs associated with the 2 main industries in the town, silk and sake. And they're the ones that are competing over control. And those are the groups he kind of pits against each other.
2 evils fighting each other. And the hero is the one who's plotting against both of them, trying to get both of them to kill each other. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of an interesting arc for a hero until it comes back and kind of bites him in the ass and he has to confront it more head on.
Kurosawa also is like heavily inspired by American Western movies. And this is him kind of deliberately doing his spin on an American Western, which makes it ironic then that this movie then became so influential on directors like Sergio Leone that Kurosawa ended up actually suing Leone after he made A Fistful of Dollars.
Really?
Because the movie it's just a direct remake.
Holy shit!
Oh, really?
I had no idea. I haven't seen Fistful of Dollars.
The Magnificent Seven is a remake of Seven Samurai. There's a strong back and forth of cultural sharing between Japan and Hollywood during this period.
So now I feel like you could kind of say the same between like Ghibli and Disney.
Pixar and Ghibli seem to have. Pixar seems highly influenced by Ghibli.
Hunger Games and what was that movie?
Battle Royale.
That's one that a lot of people have been upset about.
Have you guys seen a lot of Clint Eastwood movies?
Name some popular ones, please.
Idiots also.
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah, that's a huge one. Fistful of Dollars.
So I'll answer your question now.
Okay. I had a phase where I was watching because I was hanging out with my ex's grandfather and he was super into them. And he plays the same character every time. The cold, stoic cowboy. I definitely see where they got the inspiration, but I think this character is more fun to watch because he kind of has that attitude, that cowboy, lone ranger, lone wolf attitude, but he's kind of funny. A little bit more human too.
He's got that trickster element you were talking about. And
he just has funny lines. Like, I love the part where he's sitting and drinking at this old man's like izakaya, which is like a bar. The old man's trying to talk to him and tell him, like, freaking out about the situation. He's like, shut up, I'm busy drinking right now.
It's a really funny movie. I was surprised. I knew Kurosawa had that, but I wasn't expecting this to be a comedy. Jade and I were laughing the whole way through.
Yeah, I think this kind of relates to anime because it's a very expressive movie. I think a lot of older movies are kind of like that too, where the acting can almost feel a little over the top. But I think it's fun. If done well, it's fun how silly the characters can be and how outward their expressions can be.
It reminded me of this game that we play in improv called Soap Opera, where you just have to take the character and like to the nth degree. Like there is no question what kind of character you are playing. Like all of these characters seem like that. Like, oh, that's kind of like the dumb one, but strong, but gullible. Oh, that's the one that's for some reason really obsessed with his gun and smiles all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, he's great. Every time he took it out, he's just smirking. I'm like, I love this guy. Kurosawa was like, please frame him with the fire in the background. Have him smirk at us.
So sick.
I wanted to like see their acting directions. Like, what were they told that created this?
Just go big.
Oh, it's so fun. You're right. Like, there's so many characters, but they're all memorable because I guess they're quite flat. But, you know, it's in service of the story. Similar to anime that, you know, you're watching and you're like, there's not much to this character, but they do serve the plot, I guess.
They're memorable in a different kind of way. Or
Yeah.
like they stand out in that they're like a caricature.
Yeah, archetypal. You got the buffoon, the arrogant, handsome guy. I don't know. He's
Yeah.
the Jungian archetype is the arrogant, handsome guy.
But, you know, you do have, like, Yojimbo, who does have this depth. Throughout the movie, you're like, are you a good guy? You're a bad guy? I mean, so is everyone. That's how you're meant to watch it. And it's like the whole time I was watching him, like who did he influence? I guess like Guts is like this in a way. There's a lot of these like Lone Ranger characters where they do something evil, but then you're like, oh, actually you did it for a just cause.
I'm evil.
I am justice!
You know who I think of, actually, if we're bringing it back to anime? Spike from Cowboy Bebop. Spike is like this wandering bounty hunter for those who haven't seen Cowboy Bebop, which is insane.
Oh, well, whatever happens, happens.
But who doesn't really align with anything kind of till the end where he has to choose. And then you find out he's actually like a good guy, you know, or he actually cares deep down. And I feel like similarly, Sanjuro is like that too, where he's kind of flowing back and forth, side to side in the beginning, but then he commits at the end.
If you had to give him like the D&D chart of like chaotic or neutral or whatever the fuck, where would you put like Yojimbo?
Neutral for me. Kind of self-serving. Like not evil, but I do think he's going to do what's in his best interest.
Yeah.
What about when he helps? So there's a part in the movie, there's this couple and the wife gets sold to one of the rival gang's leaders because the husband runs out of money from gambling. And she is pretty much forced to marry or be with this rival gang leader. Sanjuro ends up saving the wife and the husband and giving the money that he was given by one of the gangs to bodyguard and telling them to get out of here and go live your lives. You know, so that's a moment of seeing Sanjuro as the good guy.
It's the only part in the movie where he acts with any kind of honor. The rest of the movie, it's really just for self-interest or just for like shits and giggles. He plays both sides of the gangs in this town. And right before the battle begins, he drops out and he's like, never mind, here's your money back or whatever. I don't need your money. Because he also heard the night before that the gang that had hired him was planning on killing him afterwards to save money. But there's this great scene where now that he's set them up to fight each other, he goes and like crawls up onto like a giant ladder, little nest,
like a watchtower,
a little watchtower. And he's just up there rocking back and forth, like giggling, clapping his hands, like having a gay old time just watching these buffoons try to fight each other.
Reminds me of when I pitted my brothers against each other as kids. Like, hey, Charlie, Bo says you're fat.
And now Jade's brothers have eating disorders.
So Jade's not speaking on good versus bad anymore.
As I was watching, I was trying to figure out why he acted out of character from what we know of him thus far in the movie. Why did he do that? Does he have a love interest towards his woman? But did I miss something that I like felt it came out of nowhere almost?
The idea of the samurai is that they're these honorable warriors, and then the idea of a Ronin is a warrior that has lost his sense of honor or his place in the world. And so I think he represents that. Deep down, he is honorable, but the situation is not honorable at all. It's two gangs, two evils fighting each other. He's not really invested. He doesn't really care about either of them. He is only self-interested because the situation itself has no goodness in it. But when presented the opportunity to do something good, I think he takes it.
Yeah, actually, I agree with you, Jade. Yeah, now that you mention it, throughout the movie, the people that are hiring him keep assuming that they will get his loyalty because they're paying him. And time again, he proves them wrong, either by just giving them their money back or screwing them over. He isn't loyal to the coin the way that everybody seems to expect our Ronin to be.
You're right. Like he's playing around with these bad characters. That's why he's not as invested. He's kind of giggling around and whatever. But then when the opportunity presents itself that other victims that are innocent, presumably, are involved, his sense of justice comes out.
So he's pitting these gangs against each other, but it kind of turns on him in a way where he ends up getting captured by one of the gangs. They kind of find out that he's betrayed them. You know, he freed the wife and gave them the money to leave. They capture him and beat the shit out of him.
It's so annoying how they catch him too, because he saves this couple. He's like, okay, leave town, get out of here. And they're like, we just want to thank you. And he's like, no, like, get the fuck out of here. And then like a couple of days later, he gets a letter in the mail and it's like handwritten by the guy, like, Dear Ronan, thank you so much. Find me.
Right.
And of course, one of the gangs sees it and they're like, God damn it, dude.
They send him a fruit basket.
I thought this was kind of an interesting arc of his storyline as the hero, where he's playing this trickster and then he gets caught in the fire of his actions. He gets punished for being honorable. In the end, he has his redemption. But it was strange to see this blasé, nonchalant character, a lone wolf badass, then be put to such a low position. He's useless without his sword, as they say. The big giant thug guy keeps beating the shit out of him. I would say that's what kind of felt strange to me, is that he's supposed to be the Clint Eastwood cowboy character, and then we kind of see him in a pathetic state.
And he gets punished for the only time he actually does something like out of the sake of his heart, you know, out of the only, had he not helped those people out and just continued to like sit up on the high horse up there in the sky, just watching these two gangs beat each other, he wouldn't have been touched by the fire at all. As soon as he actually starts to involve himself in the inner workings of this town on a personal level, it bites me in the ass. Yeah, he's kind of emasculated for a good portion of that part of the movie. He's like on the ground, bloody, beaten, weak, incapable.
You know, it's like the more movies you see and the more like scripts you break down, this arc does happen a lot in movies where things are going so good up until they're not. And then everything is like crumbling down and the audience is like, how the fuck are you going to come back from this? And I love those moments, especially in movies like this where the character is such a overpowered guy.
Every man who was rotted here over the centuries has looked up to the light and imagined climbing to freedom.
The ending just is so much more satisfying when he like rocks up and it's just him like walking down that street. Like you're smiling the whole time because you're like, it's going to go down.
Yeah. It was kind of the turning point. Up until then, it felt like we were just going in circles. Like, all right, here we go again. Back with the sneaky thing. Back with the almost fighting. Then, psych, we're going to find a way to not fight.
Does this inspire him to take action? Him being beaten up and eventually getting his sword back, but after suffering the vengeance of the gang.
What inspired him to finally take action was his izakaya friend being taken and then hung, like basically as like a come back, we have your buddy, because up until then that guy was helping him escape and then he went back in.
But I do wonder if like he would have taken action regardless, because like there's nothing really to go off of. The only thing that I'm basing it on is him throwing the knife at the leaf as a way of like potentially practicing that killing blow to the gunman.
That's one of the most badass parts of the movie.
Oh my god.
Jade and I were so stoked when we saw that.
He's sitting in a shrine after he escapes from captivity, and he has this small knife that the sake guy gave him, and he's just practicing throwing it at leaves, hitting them on the ground as they're blowing in the wind.
It's so sick. And so you see the leaf blowing around the room, and then the knife slams right into it. And of course, it's just... If you pause it, you can see the string at the end of the knife.
Oh my God.
And so all they did was they yanked the knife out of the leaf and then, blew the leaf around the room. But it's
good.
It's
cool.
a pretty effective shot, and it acts as foreshadowing for how Sanjuro's going to take down the bad guy. But we should also set up who this bad guy is, because he was pretty fun. He's the brother of one of these gang leaders. He shows up halfway through the movie. He's the person that brings a kind of power imbalance to this whole situation. Because before it's just a bunch of buffoons on either side that don't really know how to fight. And here's a guy who comes in with a revolver, a symbol of the American Western, which so then also symbolizes Westernization of their economy in Japan. It represents modernization of the country going forward into the next century. And there's an arrogance to the guy who carries it. He loves showing off that he's got it. The way that so many of the characters will keep their arms inside their kimono and, reach a hand up from outside to scratch their chin or something. He's always coming up just with his little revolver, and he likes to just kind of fire it at random times just to demonstrate that he can. When he's preparing with that knife, he knows he's going to need a projectile of some kind to interfere with this guy and his revolver.
I love how they set that up. Sanjuro at first is the most powerful element. That's why everyone wants him. But then this new power is introduced, and you're wondering, how is he going to deal with a guy with a gun when he has a sword?
No, it's great. It's set up a little bit before that too, where the izakaya buddy gives him that knife. It's like, oh yeah, this knife has gone through a whole journey with him. Like his whole recovery, he's just been using it, thinking about that moment. That's
kind of an interesting metaphor too. The least powerful gives the tool to take down the most powerful. But
no, I love Austin. You always bring this political, like capitalist, whatever take on it, and it's amazing to view it. No, it's great. It's fantastic. I'm like now viewing the whole movie like that. I believe it's called the Meiji Restoration. Has just taken over in Japan, and so it is really cool from that aspect of like these two opposites of this izakaya worker essentially. Giving a knife to this like imperialist man holding like Western civilization in his hand.
Yeah, there's an interesting scene at the end of that final boss battle. He's on the ground and the guy's like, I want to die. I need my pistol. I need to, if I'm going to go into the next world, I need to be holding the pistol in my hand. And it's so obvious that it's like a trick. He wants to try to kill the hero. But I thought it was funny that Sanjuro hands him the gun. And then when he points it at him and he's like, he's about to take his last breath, he just sits there and he doesn't try to knock the gun away. He doesn't try to stop him. It's almost as if he would be resigned to die in that moment, or at least be shot by this guy. And I didn't quite know what to make of it.
I just attributed it to him being really confident that his sword skills were so good that he knew when he was going to bleed out and die.
You do bring another element into it of him being reserved, that being okay with the fact that he might die right now and that maybe he deserves to die.
The era of the Ronin is over. That this is a resignation that this is no country for old men.
Call it.
Darian, do you think Sanjuro's hot?
I knew you were going to ask, Jade. As soon as you said my name, I was like, I know a question is coming.
Well, you're with 3 other straight men, so who else can I ask? Be honest.
I guess as far as like samurai in black and white in like a Westernish type movie go, I mean, definitely more than pretty much anyone else in the film.
How old is that actor at the time? Like Sanjuro looks,
he's mature.
He doesn't look in his prime.
Yeah.
But maybe that is a prime for samurai.
Oh, but you know who I really loved? The guy with the teeth that he looked like a freaking mouse.
The idiot brother? Or... Yeah.
He was the best.
Jade and I paused it because that guy's doing so much lip acting. There's scenes where he's just like going like this. He's not saying anything. He'll just be angry and
lips everywhere.
It's so crazy.
It was like a profile shot of him and his lips just going like in and out. Like, what is he doing?
Exactly. It's a lot.
He was the best by far.
He was good.
Other than the guy with the pistol, he was good too.
Sanjuro throws a knife, takes out the guy with the gun.
Yeah, he makes quick work of the rest of the gang after they've already taken over the town, killed everyone. You know, the town's kind of a mess. The two clans were going back and forth for a while, so burning each other's factories and sake brewery and whatnot. And after everyone's kind of cut up and dead, you know, who's left essentially? Like I love one of the ending scenes that I love is the head chief of like the police, because he was like, I'm the justice around here.
I am justice.
But the whole time he's like sucking up to both sides of the bandits. He straight up turns to him. He's like, you should go fucking hang yourself. And I love that. It's so good.
Yeah.
All sides are wiped out and the town is kind of returned to a state of peace because the gangs have destroyed each other. Plus Sanjuro has helped to destroy the gangs themselves.
What does he do? Does he just wander off?
My work here is done. He picks up another stick, throws it in the air. He's like, there's a town over there. See you guys in 2 years.
The stick points him back in that direction.
Overall, though, I had a blast with it. Thank you, Martin, for suggesting it, even though it wasn't the movie.
It was not the right.
But I've watched more of Kurosawa's later period movies. Mm-hmm. I've seen some of his early work, but I've always associated with him with telephoto lenses. On Ran and High and Low. And this movie seems to kind of be a transition in terms of his lens choice. There's some wide shots and there's some really long telephoto shots. So it's fun to see. I looked it up. I wanted to see when he started using telephotos, and this movie apparently marks a transition in his style towards telephoto. So it was fun to see him play around with that. There's some really nice long shots down the road.
The running shots are so iconic, Kurosawa. There's things whipping through the foreground, and it's just a character that's framed, like running. And he looks he's like gunning it. So cool.
Martin, was there any other reasons relating to anime? We are mostly an anime podcast, but this is a special episode that you picked this movie or could see why this would relate to anime lovers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Kurosawa in general, a Japanese, one of the most, prolific Japanese filmmakers, sets the stage for the language of Japanese cinema and anime. It's all heavily inspired from each other. A lot of anime is inspired by him. Even those like running shots you see directly in Miyazaki films.
His framing, I was thinking about Miyazaki frames a lot of scenes similarly to Kurosawa.
A lot of the characters feel like anime characters I've seen before. I can pinpoint some, like the guy with the gun I've seen. There's like a character in Samurai Champloo that's just as like cocky and evil who carries around the gun the same way like that. I feel like I see these characters echoed throughout anime too.
It was good. We should watch the second one sometime.
Well, Darian, I was curious too, as an anime lover, did this even appeal to you at all? I know you don't like to watch real movies, as you put it.
I don't.
Tell me, what did you feel about this one?
Going into it, my expectations were low.
And coming out of it, they were even lower.
No. Coming out of it, I was like, well, that was fun. Like, this is fun throughout the movie. It's my first Real People movie of 2025, at least.
Holy
damn.
Really?
That's crazy.
Oh my God. Jade wasn't kidding that you fucking hate live action.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
And I was thinking, like, we should do this more often. I should have them recommend more Real People movies.
And we will always forever call them Real People movies.
I will never call them anything else. I don't even know what you are supposed to call them.
It was also funny that this was supposed to be an Austin special, but I fucking derailed it by suggesting this.
I loved it.
And then everyone was like, all right, hell yeah, let's do that. I was like,
that's great.
The point of an Austin special is that it's a real person movie, not an anime. Cutting Austin some slack since he's a half-hearted anime fan.
I'm thinking of other Austin special movies. Like the first one that came to mind, but I thought was too similar to the last episode that we four did, is Blade Runner, because that just directly inspires Ghost in the Shell.
Martin, have you seen Afterlife?
I have not. No.
This is like one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a Japanese movie. Someday I'm going to make you guys watch that. Afterlife is one of the most humanistic films ever made. And Koreeda in general, him and like Richard Linklater, I feel like have this deep humanist quality to their characters in their filmmaking.
%. Do you like Richard Linklater's work?
Yeah, I take all sorts of Linklater, except for the animation.
I didn't even know he did.
Yeah, he did Waking Life, which was like an animated documentary, and then he did A Scanner Darkly with Keanu Reeves and Woody Harrelson. But it's all rotoscoped, and it's I don't like it.
What's rotoscope?
Rotoscoping is when you like paint over frames of video.
It's like half
Seems
animation.
Like added expenses.
It's probably cheaper because it's like you film something and then you just make it look cool by painting over it.
So you could shoot it on like an iPhone or something. You don't need to worry about the lighting as much or the sets or anything, because you're going to end up painting it all. But it just feels cheap. Part of the animation isn't it is acting, but it's about like heightening or doing things like where to jump frames between a sword being up here and when it's down. That kind of movement is not something that can be performed necessarily by actors. So with rotoscoping, you're missing out on that whole like manipulation of time that is possible in anime or hand-drawn animation in general.
It does often feel so cheap just because anyone can do it. Anyone can trace an image, even like a child. So it's like, all right, just shoot something and hire a bunch of people to just start tracing.
I think if it has any purposes, it's like leave it for the music videos. Take on Me by Aha.
Take on Me.
Great use of rotoscoping.
Who wants to give this movie a baka or not?
A baka from Austin? Is this the first one in history?
Because it's not anime.
Have you not given any anime a baka?
Yeah, I'm sure I have. We watched Porco Rosso. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, you'd like the anti-fascist film.
Yeah.
Ghost in the Shell. Great. Yeah, no, I've liked lots of the things we've watched.
Yeah.
Couple bakas in there. Oh. So one baka from Austin. What about you, Martin?
I give it a baka. A solid baka. I think I have liked other films that Kurosawa's made more potentially. Like Rashomon and Seven Samurai is just such a perfect film. Even though it's like 4 hours, it feels like it's like an hour. It's fantastic.
Love it.
Wow. Jadrian?
I agree. I give it a good solid baka. It's just great movie. So fun.
Wow. 3 solid bakas.
Well, now you're making it feel like you're setting it up to not give it a baka. You're like, wow, 3 solid bakas.
Well, I'm always the one that gives, the strongest baka. So it's like, this one already has a great review, even without my baka. I'll give it a baka, of course. I don't know
No.
It's a real people movie, so I don't know about solid baka.
No, similar to how we're trying to get Austin to give a baka. Maybe this is like our plot line, our arc is we'll have to get you to give a live action film a baka.
Well, I'll give it a baka, but like maybe it's not like my solid baka. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I probably won't watch it again on my own for no reason, but I did enjoy watching it, and I'm glad that you guys got me to watch it.
Fair enough.
Cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I was wondering the whole time. It's black and white.
Yeah.
It's like, what, 60 years old?
I think it was the comedy factor. If it were very like serious, I don't know. I don't think I would have liked it. But the fact that I was able to like just find something to giggle at all the time made it more interesting for me.
You thought Sanjuro was hot, so that helped too.
I'm starting to think Jade thought Sanjuro.
You just starts looking in the mirror like, I can be like him. If I put my hair up.
I actually had that thought. Oh, yes. Oh, speaking of that, why did they do that? Why did they put their arms in their sleeves? Does anyone know?
I was thinking it might be a reference to American Westerns with ponchos. They often have their arms underneath the sleeves in those movies until the gun comes out.
It also just looks really cool.
And I thought like a kimono would be like a Japanese version of a poncho.
I would agree, except for I've seen it in a lot of anime too, where it's usually the strongest character for some reason keeps one arm in like
that. It exudes a sort of confidence.
Was there really no reason for it?
Maybe Kurosawa started it, and that's why anime does it. Who knows?
That'd be cool.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
See you guys.
Thanks, Baka Buddies.
Bye.